silver began to rain down from the coals floating in the mirrored ocean, and the gray-haired colored boy that I was transformed into a more serene being, filled with hopes that this silver would quench his father's thirst for gold. "Rain!" my baby brother screamed. "Rain!" I cried. I picked him up into the air as high as I could, and he made a cross with his body to fully feel the silver trickling down his body. "It's cold," he sobbed. "It's cold," I sobbed. Something screeched behind us, something not well in the head, as it was ruining the tranquility of the cascading silver droplets. I was kicked on the back of one knee and fell to the floor, dropping Pebble onto the mud that had usurped the earth's throne from below us. I turned around, only to see my father roaring at us. I followed his orders, running back to the house with Pebble on my back, and grabbing 2 rotting wood buckets and setting them down, then grabbing 2 more and setting them down, then grabbing 2 more and setting them down, before realizing that Pebble was pleading for me to let him down. Why does he want the rain? He'd like to harness the silver, have it all to himself. Why does he like to harness the silver? The silver is a galloping steed, and to have it is a prize. And why won't he share the prize? My thinking stuttered horribly. Pebble continued to look at me, wanting answers. I was locked in thought when I received another kick to the same spot. My baby brother cried, "He will eat you!" I ascended from the land of the damned after a few painful moments, and kneeled before my father, lowering my face so that it touched the mud. I waited. I vanished from the world and reappeared in a realm where there was only the slick sound of rain falling on compact dirt. I collapsed onto the mud, and after what felt like an eternity in that realm, I remembered my baby brother. I raised my head and gasped for air, and the troubled boy I was greeted with more trouble at his face. "Useless boy, get up and set down more buckets." I struggled to get up, slipping on the mud, and by the time I got back on my feet, Pebble and my father were nowhere to be seen. The mud was warm and it covered my whole body. I leaned back against a tree, catching my breath, and watched as a monster walked past me and towards the timber house where I spent so many nights. I stood there, behind it now, and looked at it as it tore the roof off violently and peered into the house. "Pebble," I heard myself whimper. "Pebble, Pebble, Pebble." I slipped on the mud as I tried to stop the monster. By this point, the silver pitched down from the heavens like a stream of water streams down its path. It seemed like the streaks of water had merged into compact strings, hanging down from the mirrored ocean, as if I could climb up there and finally swim in its waters. Wiping rainwater from my eyes, I watched as it picked up my father and tore his head and shoulders clean from his torso, and tossed Pebble into its incessant rows of teeth. Then it snappily turned to me, and before I could think another word, I was crushed, obliterated, demolished, squashed, pulped, squished, macerated, splatted, smushed, pressed, pulverized. The silver created a harmonious beauty as it dripped violently onto the leaves, branches, grass, and earth. Why do I think of the rain? The silver sound is all that is, all that ever was. The air swifted shiftingly, creating yowls of long-lost souls. Why do I think of the wind? The howl is something that is feared, is sought after. Whichever one, it will always arrive. The darkness was pitch, something so monotone and simple. Why do I think of the blackness? Dark is pure, void of impurities. Fine powder floated in the air, illuminated by streaks of shine, once part of something greater. Why do I think of the dust? Once I was, forever I will be. I rose from the cold and wet earth floor. The monster was already moving on, towards the village, onto a banquet of fleshy treats. Yet as it walked, one of its knees snapped back on itself as if it was ridden, and then its elbow, and the other. With inverted limbs, it fell to the floor, shrieking, and then its arms and legs twisted and coiled, tearing the skin, the flesh, pulverizing the bone. And finally, as it writhed on the ground, from its beast head, replacing its beast antlers, sprouted two pitch-black horns, long, thick, curved, a testament to the creature's vile, wretched nature, and a punishment for all its sins.